Excellent. Namaste and welcome to the Asana Sana Yoga studio. Almost forgot the name of my own studio. This evening's class is Savasana Yoga, and this is a shorter snippet open house version of our Savasana Yoga. And this class is held every Thursday evening at 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And this class is more yin focused. So this is the kind of thing you want to do before bedtime, or if you really just need a quiet respite moment of your day. This is the kind of class for that. Now, you do not need any props to do any kind of yin yoga class. However, it is excellent to add a pillow if you have one. I like to use rolled up blankets, bolsters, blocks. They certainly will enhance the practice here today. So, everyone, I see you are all here started. Let's begin by inhaling, exhaling, getting ourselves nice and comfortable, sitting in the moment. And I like to begin each class by grounding ourselves and setting our intentions. And I'll share my intentions with you all. I intend to lead you through a fun and relaxing yin yoga class, and I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you come back to join me later on for this class at some later date. Let's take our deep breaths. Let's take 3 in through the nose and out through the mouth, grounding ourselves to this moment. And if you haven't already, allow your eyes to flutter shut, allowing yourself to be rooted to this moment. Mindfully getting ready to move into our yoga flow. Wonderful. Let's flutter our eyes open as we move into our first pose. And if you'd like, you can sit yourself down on a bolster or a blanket. I think I'll put myself on a blanket here under my hips. We're going to come into butterfly pose, bringing the palms or the soles of the feet together, letting them drop open at the knees, resting, allowing yourself just open up. And here, let's just give a gentle foot massage as we allow our knees to slowly separate into the pose. Now let's grab a block or a pillow or a bolster, however you'd like. Let's go into our first pose, which is going to be our supported butterfly or Baddha Konasana. You would want to take your block, placing it on your feet. Inhale and exhale yourself forward, resting your head on your block here. You're also welcome to use a pillow if that feels comfortable as well. But let's get ourselves nice and situated. Now make sure you guys are all in there, and don't worry about the clock. I will keep my eye on it. Let's all exhale into our Baddha Konasana. Excellent. Let's take our last breath in this pose. And as we inhale, begin to come back up to seated. Coming back into that Savasana. Let's move along to our next pose. I'm going to remove my blanket from my hips, and we're going to come into a Supta Baddha Konasana, which is a supported butterfly. I'm going to turn here for your benefit, but you just want to take a block or a blanket, pillow or bolster, put it right here at the hips, base of the spine there, and go ahead and add another one coming into a T if you're using a block. As you just exhale yourself down, holding that back block, allowing yourself to come supported, having the head supported, adjusting as necessary. Now, if you don't have blocks, you're welcome to just lay yourself flat on the mat or even use a pillow or a bolster to help. I also like to add a blanket in this pose just over my legs so that I can keep myself warm and tidy. So give everybody a moment here to get into our pose. Excellent. Let's inhale, exhaling ourselves into position, allowing our knees to drop open, holding our feet in butterfly, resting in that Supta Baddha Konasana. Awesome. And let's begin to take our last deep, fulfilling breath in this pose. On the next inhale, let's find ourselves coming back up to seated. Let's remove our pillows and our bolsters out of the way as we make our way into our next pose. For our next pose, let's find ourselves coming into our child's pose, yogi's choice. I'm going to open my knees nice and wide to allow my bottom to rest onto the mat here. You can go ahead and set a block or a pillow or a bolster to lay on. I think I will do that today with my pillow and my blanket. Also, I will rest my head here on my block, placing that on the mat. By the way, your pillow is super cute. It looks like a panda from here. Oh my gosh, it's adorable. Yes, I love it. All right, let's situate ourselves, bringing our hips forward over our pillows and our bolster. Let's exhale ourselves down, resting our head on our block, coming into our supported child's pose. Fully exhale yourself into this pose, allowing yourself to drop. And let's begin to take our last full breath in this pose. On our next inhale, let's push ourselves up, finding ourselves once again on our knees, seated in hero's pose. And now our next pose is going to be our saddle pose, which is a reclining hero's pose. It looks a little something like this, and when you're all the way on the mat. If that is not within your practice today, just swing your legs around, keeping your legs bent. You can go ahead and place a pillow or a blanket under your knees. And for all of us coming into that supported hero's pose or supported right angle leg pose, go ahead and place a pillow at the top of your mat as we're going to come through and just rest our head into the back. So let's take a moment here to get ourselves situated on the mat. I think I'm going to throw a bolster here at my lower back as well. Let's take an inhale. Exhale as we send our body back down, coming into our next pose. Opening up those hips for a reclined saddle pose, or having them in front of us, supported by a bolster or a block. Excellent. Let's take our final breath in this pose. Let's inhale ourselves back up to seated. Wonderful. And all of us, let's swing our legs back to the front, however you were, whether you were in your saddles pose or in the modification. Let's remove our pillows and blankets once more from behind us. Let's extend our backs down to the mat, fully down. We're going to come next into a supported bridge pose. So if you have your pillows or your blocks handy, let's take a moment to inhale those hips up to the sky, sliding our prop underneath, right under our back. I like to keep mine at a horizontal, right underneath my tailbone, supporting my hips into this pose. So I'll wait for you all to get into your pose and nice and situated. And then I'll start the clock. Excellent. Let's take a deep inhale. Exhale. Let's relax into our supported bridge. Dropping our hands to our side fits within our practice. Let's take our last breath in this pose. Let's remove our brick, exhaling ourselves back down onto the mat. Let's inhale ourselves up to seated once more. Excellent. Sliding back, let's find ourselves coming to a prone position. So face down on the mat, moving your bricks out of the way. I'm going to use my blanket here right underneath my hips and belly to support myself as we come into our supported cobra pose. I'm going to grab an extra brick here and place it in my chest so I can ease myself into that. You can also use a pillow or a blanket to make that a little bit softer. Just allowing your elbows to rest gently on the mat, resting here. And if you have an extra brick and you'd like to, you can go ahead and set it at its highest motion and rest your head there as well, coming into that supported Sphinx pose. We'll let everybody get situated and then I'll start the clock. Excellent. Let's exhale, fully extending into our supported Sphinx pose. Excellent. Let's take our last breath in this pose. Let's inhale ourselves up into a tabletop, removing our props. Let's find ourselves easing down, laying with a flat back on the mat, using a pillow if you have one to support your head. Easing down. Let's keep our feet flat on the floor as we keep our knees bent. From here, we're going to drop our knees slowly to the left side, coming into that cat pulling tail. And if you can, reach down to grab that right foot to pull it up just a little bit to help extend that quadricep muscle. And let's exhale here into the full experience of the pose. Let's take our last breath in this pose. And then our next inhale, let's inhale those knees up to the air once more. Exhaling as we drop down to the left side, or to, the right side. Grabbing that left foot into cat pulling tail. Take our last breath in this pose. And on the next inhale, bring your legs back up to flat feet on the ground. Let's exhale them straight out in front of us, dropping our hands, opening our feet as we come into our Shavasana pose. And as this is our final pose of the class, feel free to use a blanket or as many pillows and props as you like to support yourself into Shavasana of your comfort. Wonderful. Taking a deep inhale. Exhaling, regrounding yourself right back into Shavasana. Before we come up from our Shavasana today in this class, I would like to read for you from the Daily Stoic a passage. Today's passage is on wish not, want not. It reads, remember that it's not only the desire for wealth and position that debases and subjugates us, but also the desire for peace, leisure, travel, and learning. It doesn't matter what the external thing is. The value we place on it subjugates us to another. Where our heart is set, there our impediment lies. Epictetus. Surely Epictetus isn't saying that peace, leisure, travel, and learning are bad, is he? Thankfully, no. But ceaseless ardent desire if not bad in and of itself, is fraught with potential complications. What we desire makes us vulnerable, whether it's an opportunity to travel the world or to be president for 5 minutes of peace and quiet. When we pine for something, when we hope against hope, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Because fate can always intervene, and then we'll likely lose our self-composure and self-control in response. As Diogenes, the famous cynic, once said, it is the privilege of the gods to want nothing and of godlike men to want little. To want nothing makes one invincible because nothing lies outside of your control. This doesn't just go for not wanting the easy to criticize things like wealth or fame, the kinds of folly that we see illustrated in some of our most classic plays and fables. That green light that Gatsby strove for can represent seemingly good things too, like love or a noble cause. But it can wreck someone all the same. When it comes to your goals and the things you strive for, ask yourself, am I in control of them? Or are they in control of me? And with that, I would like for you to invite a little bit of movement into your body by slowly wiggling your fingers and your toes, bouncing your legs, wiggling your shoulders, slowly allowing movement to come to your body. Take a deep inhale and stretch your arms and legs out, taking as much space up as you like. As you exhale, allow your eyes to flutter open. You can remove your props and join me in seated here. Taking your time. Well, it was wonderful having you ladies in class this evening. And as always, this is just a quick glimpse of our Savasana class. This class is 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Thursday evenings. I'm going to end class now so we can hang out into the cool down room if you have any questions for me. But as always, I'd like to send everyone out by saying Om Shanti Shanti. Thank you for coming.